Aries. Welcome to your week ahead reading from Born Without Boundaries for the week of August 25th through 30th. That's right, guys. We are headed out of August into September. We've left Leo season. We're into a Virgo season. We're headed out of the summer. And I think that's the hard truth, is that we're headed away from the joviality that is summertime. I have to say, I think there's a lot of abundance coming in during harvest season, which is fall. So Aries, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do click subscribe, like the channel, like this video. Please do share the video. That's the biggest form of flattery. As well as ring that bell so that you know when I go live. That's the only time you'll know when I go live, is if you actually ring the notification bell. This week, you know, it's funny, Aries. In terms of channeling what the energy is, great amount of stress. A great amount of stress from being free of an old pattern. It's like you spent a long time living a certain way, and you got used to it. And now that it's over, because there was an ending, now that that's over, there was an associated stress with a new beginning. I'm being obscure because this is general, first of all. And second of all, because it is coming to me obscurely, but you were stressed out. You're stressed out from being liberated from an old pattern. And it's not like I think for many of you, you didn't want this ending, but also in a big way, the ending was good for you. I just feel like you felt defeated. Why? Because when you make a decision to commit yourself to something and you invest yourself into it, it is a point of pride for you to see that to fruition and make it and honor it and make and have it prosper, because it is now you. And there's a rift now in what between what was and what is now. And there's a great deal of associated stress. Now, for some of you, it's all good stuff. Like, there's just abundance rolling in terms of really what you wanted your whole life. But I think for a great many of you, Aries, many of you suppressed what you wanted for your whole life. You suppressed the desire. Maybe you actually felt like it was never going to happen. But to a big degree, you suppressed a deep-rooted desire in yourself. You changed who you were to deal with what you had. What you had became your primary focus. And now that you're liberated from that, you don't know what to do with yourself. Or you're almost afraid of that person that was. Well, guess what, Aries? That person that was never went away. You are still that person. And I predicted, I said this on the Pisces video too, I predicted at the beginning of the summer that Leo season was going to be like that joviality that you haven't felt since you were a kid. So this is you being put back into an old situation. And for you, Aries, it's a very good situation. You were closer to being who you wanted to be then and living how you wanted to live then than you are now. You got so far from it, just being determined and focused and, I don't know, climbing the corporate ladder and doing your work, and God, you guys work like machines. So you and Capricorn, man, I don't know anybody who works as hard. But you've gotten yourself away from it's like you've been reintroduced to this opportunity that you thought had completely vanished. So, or this part of yourself that you had thought just completely vanished, and it didn't vanish. It's still you, and it's still there. And I feel like you are, in many ways, you've already come into contact with it. And this week is about you incorporating that old newness into your life. I know, that's a little bit obscure. That's okay. This is just an introduction. It's like that song, and I attached this. I don't know if I did this. Attached it to here. Here we go. Ego, spirit. Spirit has your back. So essentially, Aries, not essentially, this is divinely guided. I feel like this is you coming back into your full self. This is you coming back into your full power. This is you taking, like becoming this almost mythical creature that you were destined to be. This week, this is a fulfillment, or it was a fulfillment, and this is the aftermath of fulfillment. I think that's what I'm going to name the video. The aftermath of fulfillment. Now, this fulfillment may not be like satiation of something you always wanted, but fulfillment of a life cycle. And so this now, Aries, is fulfillment of a life cycle. And it's the beginning of a new cycle. It's the beginning of a much more beautiful cycle. Beautiful in that it's less stress. It's less difficult. And Aries, I feel like you don't know what to do with yourself. Like you're at a point in your, this is rebirth. This is brand new. Some of you, this is a new life. It's a new life. It's a new start. It's a new day stemming from what you thought was dead. Could be literal death. Could be literal birth. Like something that you thought was gone, and it is gone. Like you fulfilled that first part of your life. It's over. But you're still, even though you have this new beginning, you're still looking back. It's like you're still concerned about it. It's like you still want to take care of the past. The past is done. Your focus is 100% supposed to be into the future. And usually that's not a problem for you because you're a progress machine. But clearly there was emotional attachment to this old phase of your life that you have not reconciled. You have not reconciled your attachment to this newness. There's a conflict in you right now. It's almost like, the god Janus is the two-faced god. Not that you're two-faced, Aries, but one of his faces looks back on the year that just passed. That's why January was named January, right? After Janus, because it's the looking back on old lang syne. Should old acquaintance be forgot? You know what I'm saying? It's like looking back on the past to almost figure out the future and figure out where you're going. That's the duality that you have going on right now. And a more mature you is looking forward. But there's this attachment to this youthful experience, this youthful stage of your life that you're still looking back on. I don't think that you're happy about this detachment. There's aspects of it that could have been traumatizing. But at the same time, Aries, you are more forward motion, because what's happening right now, and this is the kicker. What's happening right now is actually more pleasant. And you don't know how to handle that, how to handle yourself in an easier situation. You have so much energy and you have so much power in your character. You don't know where to apply all of that. You feel almost misplaced in a room that you've lived in for your whole life. You're like, I don't feel this room anymore. Well, that's because you're not supposed to be in that room anymore. You're supposed to move out of the house. You just have to shed the skin. It's past. It's over. And this new stage in your life is calling for sort of the acceptance of your full capacity, but also a calm. Oh, it's almost like this new stage of your life is you being worshipped and adored, not worshipped and adored, but like being loved, being valued. That's a good word. Being valued more than you ever were in that old stage of your life. And this is what you're readjusting to. This new relationship with the old you, this new relationship with where you are now. It's like you finally come into people's appreciation of everything that you are. And it's this readjustment period. There's a maturation here. Even though this technically is a raven and this is an eagle, this is like it's a white raven. So it's like a baby raven. It's like a new raven. It's a pure raven, right? And this eagle is definitely the matured version of itself. So there's a development of sorts of going from that awkward youth to that fully realized adult. But the truth is, this is a white raven. So you're being asked to trust in this process. That what this process is asking you and what it's asking of you. And I know that for many of you, there's been a trauma. There's been recent, I'm talking recent. It was a big, hard break from an old way of being, an old relationship, an old pattern, an old life. It was a hard break. You are too strong to cave. I'm warning you of that right now. That if you have that feeling of you just want to give up, you're not going to be able to. You're Aries. You have too much energy and you're too focused on the future. Believe in that, because that's where your focus is supposed to be. Spirit would not have pushed you into this direction if it wasn't the direction you wanted to go. And I hear it right now. I can hear like, well, fuck Spirit. Because what they took from me, nobody should have ever taken from anybody. I'm not even going to argue, because I'm just going to say you're right. And there is no rhyme or reason about the experience that you're going through, except that your life is in the future, not the past. And you are still here because you still have a purpose for being here. And I understand that some of the new way might not make sense to you and you might really be pissed at it. Ultimately, it's the direction that you're meant to go. And it's the direction that you will go. I don't see you giving up. I see that basically the past has taken a lot out of you. It's going to be hard for you because I know, there's a lot of stuff that we accuse each zodiac sign of, and sometimes it's not fair, and sometimes it is. But one of the more challenging aspects, not negative, but challenging aspects of the Arisian, of the Aryan mentality, of the Aries mentality, is they are controlling, and they just they believe in their decisions. When they've made a decision or when they've come to a conclusion, it's right, and no one's going to change their mind. And people mistake that for being controlling, and it could also come out as being controlling. Okay. This week for you, Aries, is asking you to trust in the future. Take the leap of faith in the direction you've been pushed into, because this is a fortuitous direction. And I think that's part of what scares you so much. If anything, maybe you have a little bit of you that liked to make your life a little bit difficult. You've been a little bit too conservative. You've been a little bit too held back. You've been a little bit too controlling with your own self. And you're being asked to trust in a much less stress, like a much less stress life cycle. I'm telling you, this path is abundant with wealth, with happiness, with abundance. You have been redirected. Listen, think about it this way, Aries. You're being rewarded. Like you've put in the work. I feel like this came up in Capricorn's reading too. You've put in the work. It's not like the ease of this next life cycle is something that's just put in front of you for no reason. It's put in front of you because you worked for it. It's like you somehow designed this life. No, you didn't design any bad thing that happened to you, but you designed this new, lighter life with all the hard work you've put in. And now it's like you want to argue with it because you don't want the hard work to be gone, because you got so used to it and you identified so much of your value with the hard work. It wasn't about the hard work. It was about your energy and your belief in making progress. And this is part of your progress now, is to go on to a space and a time and a life that's much more free-flowing and abundant. There's a Pisces here, a water sign, but also a reminder to go with the flow, to make the decision to be uncharacteristically yourself. Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. Uncharacteristically yourself, and not make a decision. Instead, absorb information that's coming into you. Absorb it, because I feel like in a lot of ways you need more information on something. You need to understand a circumstance a lot better before you can turn around and look forward. I don't actually think it's a bad thing. I think in some ways you deserve explanations. And if that's going to help you close the door, then that's what you do, and that's what you allow yourself. It's funny, there are 3 cards looking back, and there's that one card looking forward, and it's the Spirit card. So there's a lot of resistance in you to move on, to move forward. But that's what you're being asked to do. It's what you're being called to do. But there is still this palpable attachment to the past, Aries. That's not where your future is. That's not where your life is. We don't live in the past. We can keep looking there, but we don't live there. Why am I smiling? Because it's a reminder that the abundance is in the future. The abundance is in moving forward, and that there is so much honey. There's so much sweetness in this new life that you are almost this week still rejecting. Now, it may not be a hard rejection, it just may be hesitation. But there is so much abundance waiting all around you, like waiting for you to just lap up that honey. This is, I can say this to you if you're looking for assurance, Aries, this is a sweet, sweet situation. This is absolutely a situation that you can trust. And the situation is this new beginning, this new future. This week is all going to be all about that transition period for you, though. See how he's leaping into the future? But how is he leaping into the future? He's leaping into the future by trusting in this ambiguous in-between phase that he doesn't have control over. There's not certainty here. I can tell you right now, it looks to me, there was a decision that was made for you. Excuse me. There was a decision that was made for you. Maybe by a mechanism, maybe by a corporation, maybe by life and just the universe itself. It was made for you. And I think that is in some parts what is making you uncomfortable. It also may be like requiring you to like if it's a new job or something, it's maybe asking you to move and you didn't want to move, or it may be throwing chinks in paperwork, like maybe you were just in the middle of getting a mortgage, and now that the company has been sold, it's kind of thrown a chink in the chain. It's kind of made you and your salary look a little less stable. And honestly, I think that's all in your head, because you want to find reasons to not like this situation. It's almost like you're looking for situations to not like the future and to almost overly admire the past, like give it too much credit. It wasn't that good. I can tell you that right now. It wasn't that special. It wasn't that good. I know you have an emotional attachment to it and you think it was, but honestly, your happiness and your future is really that way. It's really where you don't want to look right now, but you're going to. By the end of this week, you are coming out of that discomfort and you are deciding to take the leap of faith and focus on the future and stop trying to shit all over any kind of potential for the future because it doesn't include your past. You are more willing to, at least if not let go of the past yet, be more open to this new stage of your life, this new way of being and living, this lighter and less stressful. And oh my God, there's just going to be so much happiness coming into your life. All that worry and all that trauma, there could have been sickness involved in the past, like lack of health. It's gone. It's gone. And you can disengage from that now. It's like you've learned to trust in that negative, and you've learned to trust it and you've learned to work within it. So now that you don't have it, you're breathing clearer, purer air, but it stinks to you because it's not what you're used to. But by the end of this week, you're going to be willing to give the future a chance. You're going to at least not have so much resistance to the quality that could lie there, the abundance that could lie there. You'll be open to hearing conversations about, oh, okay, Aries, and this is over 20 minutes, but if you're listening still, this is a really powerful message. It's almost like you feel guilty for letting the past go. It's like you feel guilty because you know on some level how beautiful your life and your future is. And you feel guilty. It's like you felt you left somebody behind. It's like you feel like there's a guilt. And this is why you're resisting. This is why you're fighting. This is why you're trying to like throw shit on the future, because you feel guilty that you're going to be experiencing such happiness while there was misery that was left behind in your past. But you know what, Aries? That's where you're called. And it's what I said in the beginning of the reading. It's what you've earned. So why would you feel guilty about something that you have earned? It's what you created, and it's what you created for yourself. And now you're taking back that abundance. Trust in divine detours. There is always enough. And honestly, this card keeps coming up, so I'm just going to say it. Claim your independence. This does not mean that you're single. What it means is independence. Look at the direction that the cat's looking. The same direction that all those top cards are looking. Claim your independence from the past. It's okay. It's not your fault. It's almost like survivor's guilt is what you're feeling now. It's almost like survivor's guilt. How is that your fault? It's not your fault. And honestly, the relief that you feel in your life right now probably has even if it has something to do with that, it's not karmic. You didn't cause that to happen. You still worked for the abundance that's starting to come into your life now, and you're being asked once again to trust in this unfamiliar process. Trust this unfamiliar path. It's constant reiteration of spirit message after spirit message. You belong here. You don't belong back there. The hardship this week is struggling with that survivor's guilt. And I can tell you right now, it will be hard for you all week. But what I can also let you know and assure you is you will start to be curious and even maybe playfully curious toward what the future is going to bring to you by the end of this week, by the new moon. By the new moon, you will be emotionally prepared for a new life. Wow. You earned it. You earned it. Now, if you want to delve deeper into the circumstance, have it clarified, maybe more specifics, I'll clarify with tarot over on Vimeo. For the extended reading, I will also include a romance reading. So we'll check in romantically what's happening with your love life, Aries. I will look for your comments. I always enjoy the Aries contribution. And if you do not head over onto Vimeo, I just want to say thank you so much for enjoying this time with me at Born Without Boundaries. And you will definitely see me next week, but hopefully you'll also see me over on Vimeo. I'll talk to you soon.